love our song, don't you? You love it, you love it. Welcome in, and welcome everybody to another episode of Thriving Thursdays with Alexandria Nicole. I'm your host, Alexandria Nicole, and we are the place where leaders, innovators, and change makers come together to gain clarity, elevate strategy, and take bold action so that we can thrive together. We're brought to you by our community of business owners, professionals, founders, creatives as well. So humbly, the company and organization that I founded, Elevate Your Growth. And today I'm so excited. I'm so excited to welcome and introduce you all to Jayna Swan. She is the founder of HER, which is an acronym for Healthy Emotional Regulation. How are you, Jayna?
I am so fantastic. I cannot wait. We've been looking so forward to today.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. And you are fantastic. I love you so much.
You.
So let's get right into our questions, my love. So where did you grow up? And do you still consider that place home?
Oh, that's such a unique question. Oh my goodness. I actually was born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, okay.
And so I think there's not much holding me back to that location anymore. So it's not that I see that. I kind of see all of Florida as home. But really just wherever I am is home. Now that I think about that. So yeah, great question. I had not thought about that.
Thank you.
Now I gotta pull my big girl pants on. All right, good question.
We're getting into it, Jayna. We're getting into it. So where do you live now? What part of the country are you in?
I'm in Orlando, Florida. When I was 9, I transmuted. I don't know, I moved.
Transplant.
And it's been great here. I've been in Orlando forever. I actually just saw snow for the first time like 2 weeks ago. That random blizzard that was in Boston. I happened to be there at the time, so I got to see all the snow I could ever want. But yes, born and raised Florida girl, pretty much always been in Florida.
Boston is one of those places I constantly think about. Like my husband, before we opened our business, he was on the road and we traveled with him and loved Boston. We would constantly be in Harvard Square. We'd go to Chinatown in Boston, the best food ever. I love Boston. So were you doing a speaking engagement there? You had a client, or what were you doing in Boston?
I sure was. I was doing TEDx Harvard Square. And that was a freaking blast. And so we happened to get a blizzard that came in on the last day. And all my friends got out. They all got on their flights, but my flight was canceled. So we got a 2-day pause in a hotel. And it felt like a Florida hurricane, but just colder.
Oh, no, you paused for a second there. It'll catch up in the buffer, though. It's kind of buffering right now. We'll edit all this out. No worries. But yes, I love Boston. I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last thing that you said. So growing up, what were your family dynamics like, and how did that impact the woman you are today?
It's a very interesting family dynamic because I grew up in a Christian household. My dad was a pastor of a church. So I was very much under a highly scrutinized eye of everybody. And it's where my perfectionism was born. And so very much learned to be perfect, that everybody was always watching, and the pressure of the world. So I grew up in that way, and watching my dad on stage in front of what started as 400 people, and when we left the area was 4,000 people, watching someone that I'm so directly connected to speak on stage and command that stage, I think that really did have an impact on who I am today. It's not that it gave me the skills that I had, it gave me the belief system that I was capable of adapting and growing into who I am today. Because I think most people don't even try because they don't see it in themselves.
Right.
But we never start this way. We finish this way. But what gets you started? And I think sitting in the rafters above, looking down at my dad speaking to 4,000 people on stage, I think there was a part of me that was like, I can do that. I want to change the world like that. I want people to listen to my voice and go and have a better life because of it.
Oh, that's incredible. So it was the polar opposite for me. I had to overcome the limiting belief of nobody cares what I have to say. So I had some work to do internally because unlike you, which you're so blessed to be in that position to see it modeled. I'm sure on the back end, all the pressure and the scrutiny and judgment and whispers wasn't great, family dynamic and pressure and all the church trauma and all the things that comes with that. But to watch your dad show up in that leadership, show up in that light. And now you are also pursuing the same legacy of impacting one to many on the
Yes.
stage.
Yeah.
So it impacted you immensely, didn't it?
It sure did, because I looked at him and said, "Well, if he can do it." I love him, but bless that man. If you can do it, I can do it.
Oh my goodness, I love that. So you're looking at your dad from the stage and you're thinking, I can absolutely do that. Did that always mean that you envision yourself as a business owner? Did you think that far ahead that it would be sewed into business ownership? No.
Not at all. I think
Yeah.
I was always the performer, the theater kid. I was on a national championship dance team at one point. So I'm like performing, being on stage, memorizing scripts, like all of that was like, yeah, in the bag. What am I going to do with these skills? No clue. I had no idea. No clue. And I was just walking the path, no clue where the path was going to take me. In
Yeah.
fact, if we were to rewind a good handful of years, I back in, when did I close it? I closed it down in 2021. But before that, all the way from 2013 till 2021, I had a cleaning business. That was my first business, was scrubbing toilets and floors. And it all came about because I started to develop cysts the size of golf balls on my labia. And
Oh.
I was 19 years old, and I had been working full time in restaurants. That was really where my work career started, was in restaurants. It's where I get
Mhm.
my ability to do customer service and work with people really well. And so in that, I was like, okay, this is great, but like, this isn't it. And then I stumbled across, my dad ended up introducing me to an office that was looking to hire someone. It was an immigration law office. And so I ended up
Mm.
going in, applying, working for this gentleman for about a year, year and a half. One of my greatest accomplishments in my life was from A to Z getting a Mexican skeet skier his green card. It was a very hard process for me, but something that I know right now in this world is so important and impactful to his
Yeah.
family. So like
Yeah.
huge. That man wanted to pay for me to go to school to become an attorney. And I sat there and I prayed and meditated, and everything was, that's not your path. That's not your path. I was
Mm.
like, okay, I got to tell this man no. Like, I love him so much. We walked so much. And I was like, no, and I need to walk away now. And he was like, what? And like, it was insane. He helped me through my first couple surgeries, letting me still work, even though I was in pain. And it was so gracious of him. But then I came to a point where I'm laying in bed and I'm like thinking about cause and effect, right? Post surgery, I couldn't do very much. And so I'm like, oh, Johnny drinks, he's gaining weight. Sarah studies, she's getting smarter. Cause and effect. And I was like, if I keep doing the things I'm doing, I'm never going to get where I want to go. Oh, I need to do a different action. And so I was like, all right, well, what is the thing that I could start? What's a business that takes no money to start and all effort up front? And I took the $12 that I had left and I walked into the Dollar Tree and I got a spray bottle, some Dawn dish soap, a bucket, and some rags. And I started walking up and down the main thoroughway here with all the businesses, just knock, 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 knock. And I ended up getting an amazing portfolio of business owners who I then got to learn from. I then got to ask them questions. What books are you reading? I'll be like scrubbing their toilet. Like, what book are you reading right now? And they'll tell me. And I'd go get it. I'd listen to it. I'd come back next week and ask them questions. And so I'd go in depth and I'd integrate that information. So I might have been cleaning toilets, but I was never listening to music. I was listening to, you can get lectures from Harvard online for free. You just have to be willing to find them and listen. And so I would do that. I would listen to books. I would educate. I would be learning about real estate investment while scrubbing toilets. I would see it in real time through my clients. And so that was my first step into business. And then after that, my desire to do more coaching and share what I've learned through all of the suffering. I want to be able to help eliminate other
Yes.
people's suffering. And so
Yes.
I was like, okay, COVID started and I was kind of getting tired of like scooping up bed linens and like putting their COVID linens in my face. And I was like, I don't know, I can keep doing this. Like, it's these last 10 years served me well, but I think I'm done. So I got out of it and went full-time speaking and coaching, full-time content creating. That's really, I went in wanting to speak for another company, and I got that gig and I loved it until I realized that they had different values than I did, and or a different interpretation of certain values, because there were certain
Mm,
values they would say they had the same value, but their actions did not show that they had the same definition of that value. So I
yeah.
had to remove myself out of the fact it wasn't the right energy, it wasn't the right alignment for me. And when I left them is when I started and founded Healthy Emotional Regulation. And now I get to help men and women across the world. And I love what I get to do with them. And I can't see myself as anything other than an entrepreneur because I am highly unemployable at this point. I I go into businesses that people are like, oh, come part-time or do this and that. I'm like, let me help you. I end up running the whole thing because I know how to run it. Every aspect of a business. I'm like, oh, this needs help. This needs fixing. How about we? So yeah, long story to say, I was never planning to be in business, but now you can't get me out of business.
Yes, so good. So let's unpack the fact that the path was laid before you. It looks like all signs are pointing to go, but
Mhm.
you, in your introspection and getting quiet and having conversations with God and getting aligned with your actual purpose, you declined and you
Yep.
pivoted. How incredible. I wonder how many times there are people that have the path laid before them and they just walk it, even though there's something in their spirit that says this is not the right way. But they become so kind of obsessed with the safety, or
Mhm.
maybe not wanting to disappoint other people, or maybe nervous about the outcome, that they just walk the path begrudgingly, by the way, because they
Yep.
know that something's off and they should be doing something different. But because they don't know what that is, they just take the safe route.
Yep. I see it in friends and family all the time. The last 2 decades of my life, pretty much, decade and a half really, has been all of what I just explained. And I was told I was nuts and crazy the whole time. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? You're throwing it away. What? I haven't even mentioned the fact that in that process, in that cleaning business process, I ended up meeting the man that I'm with and have been with for 11 years, and he is
Wow.
27 years older than me. So the amount of voices that were like, "What are you doing? You're going to ruin your life. You're not thinking about," and it was like I just had to tune out the noise. And I
Yes.
just had to tune into what is my heart telling me? What is my head telling me? And my visions, I have learned over the years, pattern recognition is amazing. Look backwards. Journaling is your best friend. If you can journal on the
Mm.
past, you can learn more about your future. I will put that out there loud and
Mm.
clear because it was just such a great way to deconstruct who you are and where you are. Um,
Yes.
that it's so important because these little pivots, they're hard to make. It sounds like, oh, it's just a little pivot. Just a little pivot.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
No.
like I going from that speaking business, I worked for 2 years to get that role. I was the first person in 41 years to get hired directly out of a training program to work for them. And I was on such a high. I worked forever. In my mind, for the next 10 years, that was what I would be doing. And so
Mm.
to walk away from that, I was stepping into the complete unknown because everything in my heart and mind was set for that. And at the
Yeah.
time, that's all I could see. But what I've recognized is the bigger visions that I get, those little things that kind of, it's not the big ones, the ego ones, right? Where it's like your ego wants to see this thing. It's the little ones in your gut that come up again and again, little nudges. And you're like, almost like curiosity nudges. But I've found that
Mm.
when I listen to those visions, when I'm in the morning and I'm just sitting with myself in silence and something keeps coming up, just write it down, let it be, go back to it. Whenever I follow those visions, they come true because a vision work is so it's so connected to who you are and where you're going. When
Yeah.
I do live events, whether it be a retreat that I put on or a talk I'm giving for someone else, or for example, this TEDx, I did vision work leading up to it. Every single morning would sit down and vision myself on that stage in front of the people doing the thing, right? You gotta feel it first to attract it to
Mhm.
you, right? And so I'm
Mhm.
sitting here and I'm having this vision over and over. Well, they told us what building we were supposed to be in. I very much went to the website, very much looked at the room and had an idea. I could not
Mhm.
for the life of me get that building to show up in my head. I couldn't get it. I just kept
Mm.
seeing this theater and I'm like, I don't know why my mind is doing this, but my mind's never led me astray. Well, 2 weeks before the event, the location changed, and it changed to a theater, and it looked
Wow.
exactly like it looked in my mind. And I was like, girl, you need to stop questioning yourself and just listen to your gut.
That's confirmation. Mm-hmm.
So like it for me is a very gut thing. I'm a kinesthetic person, means I feel a lot.
Yeah,
So my
too.
body is always speaking to me. It's a big part of the messaging that I like to talk with people about, unpack, is what is your body saying to you? What small whispers are you missing? Let's get those before they turn into this massive scream, which is pain, disease, inflammation, cancer, like all of these issues
Wow.
in my belief system are
Yeah.
your body trying to say, hey, pay attention. Hey, pay attention. Hey, pay attention. She's not listening, you guys. Turn the volume up. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's like, can you
Yes.
hear me now?
Uh-huh. Yes. Oh my goodness. That is so incredible. And yes, I think there's so many people that don't talk about the visualization aspect of things. Whenever I'm about to teach, or if there's something that I'm going to approach, if there's a workshop or an accelerator or a stage that I'm going to be on, I very much so there's this, I have a process of like, I position the slides or whatever it's going to be. I envision my delivery. I envision the room that I'm going to be in terms of like the audience. Like I get in this very deep state
Yes.
prior, especially like that window of like 2 to 3 days prior. It's almost like I don't want to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had an accelerator I taught for the chamber this week, and my daughter had a speech therapy appointment that day, and I was like, why did I do this to myself? Why did I book an appointment? And usually my schedule is, it's back-to-back meetings and appointments, and juggling that with mom stuff.
Yeah.
And I can handle that any day of the week. I had 6 things I had to do today. But the day of a talk, I had one thing, and I was like, why? Because I'm in that state, right?
Yes.
Because there's something visceral about understanding how you communicate and how you deliver and how you connect with the people in that room. You're planting seeds of change and impact and transformation, and that should be honored. I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of people think we just show up and just do the thing,
Yep.
but no, it's almost something spiritual to what we're doing.
Well, for
You know
people
what I
like
mean?
you and I, yes. Now, there are people who do just show up and talk because they are okay with speaking from the head, because they're there for their own ego. They're there to make sure their words are said. And there is a big difference between saying words and transferring ideas, right?
Ooh, Jayna. Stop the interview right now. Turn the record off. We're done. That was such a mic moment. Oh, that was so good.
I'm going to be super vulnerable right now. I have not talked about this outside of my inner core group just yet, but my TEDx did not go the way I'd planned. It wasn't the performance or delivery that I knew I could give. Through some timing things, I went on about 10, 15 minutes earlier than what I was told. Just like you said, the time leading up to the stage is super important. And for me, I have that last 10-minute ritual that I did not get to do. And because I didn't get to do that, and I'm chilling in the back room, jackets off. I got 20 minutes. I'm plenty of time, like whatever. And the next thing you know, knock, knock, knock. Are you ready? I'm like, no.
No.
I throw my jacket on. I've got cameras because I want to get behind the scenes stuff. I'm setting up my cameras. I'm like, stop. Okay, take a deep breath. Okay, get yourself in the state. You got to say the couple, but I didn't get to visualize my audience, connect with my audience energetically. Like I didn't get to do that final mental walkthrough. I didn't get to do certain things physically that brought my state from a very low state. I just got done with some breath work to that high, ready to walk out on stage state, because the energy of the stage is very high. And if your energy is not there to match that, it can throw you off. So all this to say, I walked out there and I wouldn't say I bombed, but I wouldn't say that it was my best performance. And I sit here and I say that because one, yes, the mental preparation is there. And what I didn't get was that opportunity to connect. What I didn't get. And so I walked out on that stage in my head, and I was here, and I spoke for the first quarter, 1/3 in my head. And I had about 10 friends there who have all seen me speak before. And they all told me afterwards, we could see it. You were in your head. And I'm walking around. I had a few lines I missed, which threw me off mentally. And so now I'm even more in my head. And I'm sitting here. I'm like, okay. And I get to a part and I just pause, like really awkward, long pause. No face, because I didn't want to know. Like my brain's like, what do I do? Like what? And it's like I'm like they can't see it. You watch the videos. I look so poised, but because I've worked on this. But internally, I am panicking. Like it is this just time. So I'm going through all of this. I finish, I get off the stage, and I'll tell you, my intention going into this experience was not to be the best speaker in the room. It was not to get the greatest applause. It was not to get the most flowers afterwards. It was to successfully transfer that idea from me to the hearts of the 400 people in that room, and soon to be hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people online. So I had to grieve the loss of what I thought needed to be able to transfer that idea, and now accept that what is enough. Because I had another girlfriend text me. She's like, I really wish I could have taken a picture of this because I know you need to see it, but I'm going to tell you anyways. She was walking back into the room after one of the breaks, and she just sees this young man. After my talk, I gifted golf balls to the entire audience because this is the size of the cysts that I've had removed from my body 7 times across 10 years. Wow. And on the ball, it says the core thesis, which is less doing, more being. And it's that shifting from your head, the doing, to your heart, the being. And he was just in it, mesmerized, looking at this ball, holding it, like really melting into it. And she said, that's what you wanted. You wanted to create a ripple effect that impacted people so much that they sit and actually think about this for once. And she said, so even though you're sitting here and kicking yourself because you didn't say all the words you wanted to say and it wasn't exactly what you had rehearsed, you have to understand you did succeed in your goal to transfer that idea. And I also got to experience one of my girlfriends being exactly what I talked about from stage. And I wanted to be that on stage that day, which, I was at the end. So here's the beauty is one of the things I talk about is I coined something called a regulated leader, because we have traditional leadership, which is the push, go, do, silence the pain, numb it out, just keep pushing, keep doing more. It'll go away. Keep doing more. No, check more off the list. I tried that. It doesn't work. That regulated leadership is the equality between the doing and the being. It's not so much being that we are not doing. It's being present in the doing. And so as I'm doing this talk and I'm fumbling around stage, looking like a lost puppy dog in my own eyes when I watch the video, it's really not that bad though. My heart breaking as I'm watching it. I sit here and I watched it like 3 times and couldn't get to the end. I kept stopping halfway through because I would cry watching it, knowing how much time and effort, energy I put into picking every single word and every sentence for that talk. And she said, Jayna, you haven't seen it yet. I'm like, what? You haven't seen the whole thing, have you? I said, no. She goes, when you see the whole thing, you'll see what I saw. I'm like, what's that? She said, you walked out in your head. You stumbled, you fumbled a little bit. That's okay. It was still great. Then you stop halfway through and you pause and you take a deep breath and a big old smile comes on your face. And then you proceed to talk from your heart for the rest of the talk. So you showed us in real time exactly what you were teaching us, was how leaders have pressure and things happen and you can't control the outside world. So what are we going to do? We're going to take a deep breath. We're going to smile. We're going to stay grounded and we're going to keep talking from the heart. And so while my TEDx wasn't exactly what my brain had envisioned for this amazing, successful, wow, the whole group is so wild, amazing. But I wasn't meant to be the best speaker on stage. I was meant to get that idea across. And I don't think there's any better way than living your thesis in real time on stage that I could have done. So that's my little tidbit. You guys are the first ones to get the breaking story. I'm sure I'll put out a podcast of me reading through my journal prompts so that you guys can see I'm human too. because I cried the entire first class flight home from this trip because I was so in it. Girl, like I don't even like, I'm like writing on a tablet because I'm like, I gotta journal this because tomorrow I'm not going to feel like I feel today. So I need to get the words now. So when I look at it tomorrow, I can go, what was she thinking? Because so I'm sitting here and I'm like journaling, sobbing, literally like tears rolling down my face. I'm journaling. And then every time I'd write a line, I'd like scooch the screen up further so the person behind me couldn't read the things I was writing.
I get like embarrassed by it. I'm working on some rewires, some aspects of myself that I cannot take with me into the next level of leadership.
Yes.
And it reminds me of what I have on the very bottom. So here's the printout. I read it every morning. I'm going to read it to you. I'm sure the light's blinding it, but it says, I am someone who grows through iteration, not perfection. Being in progress is not the same as failing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things that I say to myself every day, because as someone who was a strategic thinker and a marketer and a researcher and all these hats that I wear in our Elevate Your Growth ecosystem, so I'm simultaneously always feeling the fence of being present while also being forward thinking. I have to think about what's happening now as well as our trajectory. And if I'm not careful, I live too far in the future and then become disappointed with the present.
Yeah.
So I love how you just allowed yourself to feel.
Yep.
And you understood that ultimately it may not have been conveyed in the way that you envisioned or that you wanted it to, but the outcome, the impact, the transference of information, you were understood, you were felt.
Yes.
You did your job as a thorough communicator, even though it wasn't the way that you would have wanted it to be, but you still did what you needed to do. The impact was still the same, probably if not greater, because like you said, you lived it in real time.
Mm-hmm.
It was an example. And
it also makes me real and relatable, right?
There you go. I was just about to say that. Instead of speaking from a space of like, this was me 12 years ago, you were like, this is a real-time example of the very thing that I'm talking about, which makes it more palatable for people to receive, right? Because it shows your humanity.
Yes. And I am not someone to speak from a pedestal. So it very much put me back in the dirt with everybody else. And I just did what I tell my clients to do, sit in the mud, because the faster we sit in the mud and just allow ourselves to be in that energy, the quicker it releases. But if we don't, there were quite a few people who were like, Jayna, stop crying. Jayna, it's okay. Jayna, stop. And they wanted to reframe me in that moment. And I'm like, no, you must not listen to what I teach, right? Because if I was to just swoosh it away and be like, because I have those tools, right? And just forget about it and like, oh no, it's fine. It is whatever. If I had done that, it could have showed up in my body in pain in the future because I didn't speak what I actually was feeling. So I let myself sit backstage and cuss a little bit and get a little bit upset. And then afterwards shed some tears, because I know that if I kept that inside, it would turn up as another cyst. It would turn up as I've had eczema on my eyes to where my eyes swell shut. That was my body trying to communicate with me. I've had shoulder pain from my body trying to communicate with me. It's just different aspects of it that I know it's okay to be upset. Everybody wants to stay in these upper level energies. And I'm like, but you do realize that if you look at a heartbeat, it goes up and down, up and down. We have to have the lows to be able to remind us of the highs. Otherwise, we are this, which is a flat line. It is death. Like, we don't want to just be happy, or else happiness becomes apathy. It becomes literally like nothing. And so I love that you shared that with me. That's one of your things, because it reminds me of something I experienced as well. This
Yeah.
stone says imperfection is perfection because it's real. And
Oh,
this came up,
yes.
another quick story. I was at a retreat and I had these girls, we did a beach retreat. It was for a company. They brought them in and then I ran my transformative retreat with them. So we're in the middle of this retreat and I had this great idea leading up to this one. I try and do different activities at all of them, so it's kind of unique. This one was I bought some sweats for everybody and then a bleach pen. And the idea was to write all of these amazing words of affirmation on yours and then on each other's. And then when the bleach sticks and stays, you can go home and when you're having a bad day, just put those sweats on and you'll be surrounded by the love and the energy of these people and you can have all these great words. So we're there and I've got the cardboard between it and we're like writing and it disappears into it. We're writing and then it disappears into it. I'm like joking. I'm like, maybe I got stain resistant sweats. And the girls are over there just like trying not to be rude, but like snickering. And they're like, Jayna, these aren't bleach pens. They're oxy stain pens. And so the girl who had a cleaning business for nearly a decade couldn't read packaging well enough.
Oh my gosh.
So we continued to joke the entire rest of the retreat. Later on, a girl was like, "Oh, your handwriting's so great." And I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Too bad you used invisible ink." Right? Like, so now I have these purple sweats that have invisible ink on them of all these kind words about myself. And it's, again, it just brings me back to like, I wanted it to be that whole thing. And then I recognized that like, no, that memory would have come and gone. But the reason I can say bleach to any of those women and they've just bust out in laughter is because
Yes.
that imperfection is perfection because it's real. So I'm
Yes.
so glad I had that imperfect TEDx because it's a real TEDx.
Mm. Jayna, that's so good. And I love how you lean in the transparency of this journey because a lot of times, us as leaders, we like to highlight our wins. We like to do what 99.9% of people do online is show the highlight reel, show the best parts of our lives, not sharing the hardships. But I love how you, as John Maxwell says, you profit from the mistakes, you profit from the failures, right? Because if you don't, then it literally happened for no reason. We're supposed to take something grand for that. And I love how you leverage those moments and let them allow you to embrace your imperfections. Yes, that's so beautiful. So you're out of the cleaning business and
Yeah.
you're like Mr. Miyagiing yourself essentially. You're like wax on, wax off on the toilet. What book you're reading? Like I love that. So good. So you decide you're done
Yep.
and you're ready to enter the market as a coach. How did you go about pivoting and switching and attracting the client base and the opportunities with the workshops and the retreats? What did you do to
Girl,
get
it's
where you
been
are?
a journey, I swear. And there's so much outside of me that was involved. And I don't want to label it as luck because I don't believe in luck. I believe in energy and what we put out, we get back, right? And how we show up in the world, it responds to us. And so I happen to go through some transformative stuff at that time because I released my cleaning business so I could go to a 2-week training program to learn how to help my clients shift their limiting beliefs and change their identity. Because I, at that point, was still having the cysts. And I was like, this is just going to be the rest of my life. Google says 20 to 40. I got 10, 20 more years of this. Like, it just is what it is. And I was just accepting it. I'm like, well, let me just go get educated more for my clients. So I went, and in the process of getting that certification for neurolinguistic programming, I learned what's called a breakthrough session, something I now do with my clients. It's a 12-hour day with me where we essentially take 10 years of therapy and shove it into 10 hours. And we really just get in there and figure out what you need. Well, I went through that. So to be able to do it with someone else, you got to go through it yourself, right? So I went through that. In that process, I was able to release the unworthiness that I had been carrying for years. I had sexual abuse as a young woman. I had carried that. I lost a lot in that process. And so I went through that and I felt so free. And I followed that up with some additional healing modalities that some people might be into, some people might not. But at the time, I listened to what I was being guided. And that was the part of the path I stepped off the path and went on a little side quest. I did plant medicine. I went out to Costa Rica and did do ayahuasca. And while I was there, elevating my energy and letting go of these traumatic experiences from my past, I just might so happen to be going viral on social media. And I was like, one night, I'm like, 25,000 views is the most I've ever gotten on anything. Then I was like, 75,000, 250,000. What is happening? And like, it just kept going and going. And then it started hitting millions of views. And then I had videos, 5 million views, 2 million views, 3 million views, just happening. And I was like, okay, this is what we're doing then. And so I was at that time educating on relationships, intimacy, how to communicate. And I was getting a lot of men who were being attracted to my content because they didn't know how to talk to women. They didn't know how to approach a woman. And I see everybody. And so they would come to me, and while being invisible to the world, I would see them. Hi, how are you? How's your day? And they're like, oh my God. And then they would like not be able to talk. So I helped save marriages. I helped people make the right decision for them and their family to leave marriages. I helped people bring kids into this world. I am so proud of the work that I got to do with relationships and intimacy at that time. It did go viral for 2 whole years. Over 20 million different accounts saw my stuff, not just 20 million views, because people get that wrong. And this was 2021. This is Instagram. This is not TikTok numbers. So I'm like, I was really proud of it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, with that came what I coined social media PTSD. P for perversion, T for trolls, S for slander, and D for death threats. When I started to receive death threats from men who assumed my education was me saying, hi, I'm available, when it wasn't, and then they felt rejected, they would then proceed to say very cruel and mean things to me. And I got over a dozen death threats. And so I ended up deleting everything. In 2023, I deleted an Instagram account I've been building for 14 years. I had 3 seasons of a podcast I let go of, websites, literally anything on the internet that I had access to that wasn't someone else's podcast, I deleted and got off the internet. It was hard. That's a big reason why I do what I do today, where I help leaders and I help creatives specifically have my heart. I never ever want another creative to feel so threatened and unsafe that they have to delete their creations from this world. Those are things I'll never get back. I silenced myself. I let my voice be crushed by other people's insecurities. And I will not let that happen to another person. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to educate people on your nervous system and what's happening. And it feels like you're being chased by a lion, but you're not. That email's not going to kill you, even though it feels like hitting post on this is the scariest thing that we can do because we're putting ourselves out there. It's really not. And in fact, it's the most life-changing thing that you can do because all you need is one person. So while I got 12 death threats, I had over 12 people come to me and say that I saved their lives, because I used to talk about how ED is one of the first signs to a heart attack, because if those arteries are already clogging up in that area, it's the smallest one in the body, so you need to go get checked. I had over 13 men said they went and got checked. They're now seeing a nutritionist because they were on death's doorstep. High triglycerides, high cholesterol, high. So I had the dichotomy of fearing some people so heavily, but then loving what I was doing. And so there is this space that it's like, you just have to keep trusting that inside, that nudge we talked about earlier, that it wasn't an easy decision to do any of that. But the moment I decided, the moment I made that mental decision to delete, hitting the buttons was easy. It's the decision to get there that's hard. In fact, I will say that like hitting the buttons really wasn't that easy, because if you've ever tried to delete an Instagram page, it's like a 12-step process. You got to like send in your socials. Like, it's so crazy. They're like, you sure you want to delete? Yes. You sure you want to delete? I'm really, really sure. I'm like, yes. It's a little humor to it, but like, it really wasn't that easy. So you have to have that decision made.
Yes.
You know?
Oh my goodness. So did your clients come from the viral base and you pretty much had them locked in, or?
No, actually,
How did that go?
I had some clients come from that. I was working a lot with the men and stuff. I really shifted to working with women because what I learned through that process was that women work really well in groups and men work really well one-on-one. So I tend to just, if I take on a man, he's just only offered one-on-one as an option because that's the only thing I have at the moment. I have a retreat I'm working on for men, just not enough men to fill it. And then for the women, I've learned they work really well in groups, and having that communal, the we vibe, and like I shared my stuff with her and she shared hers. It makes it easier to share your stuff. I find that's really helpful. My clients actually come a lot from as a speaker or as an entrepreneur going to conferences and events and meeting other entrepreneurs and speakers. That's really where my clients come from, because while I'm very visual online in the sense of like I show up, I'm here, I am exactly who I am online that I am in person, but there's just something about being in person with me that people just, they can finally see like, oh, you actually are who you are online in person. And that's what leads people to want to work with me more. Plus, I work with leaders. So usually leaders aren't sitting there scrolling forever on social media. They're out doing stuff in the world. So I got to go to where they're doing to find them. And then they end up, word of mouth is really where a lot of it comes from, because one person will work with me and they're like, now my husband, now my sister, now my employee, now can you come into my business? I'm like, sure. Like, how do we want to? So word of mouth, everything I do now is invite only. So it's all wait list. You join a wait list when I have enough people or when I have dates that I'm feeling called to. I will reach out to those on the wait list, see if those dates work for them. And that's really the only way I do it anymore, because I've like, we learn trial and error over the years. My coaching is not surface level coaching, and my mentorship isn't either. It's very, very like deep work you have to be ready for. So I found that if people go to my retreat first and spend either the 3-day, it's more like a relaxing, get away from all the responsibilities of life, or the 5-day, which is a full-blown transformative identity shift. Doing either of those first gives both you and I a better understanding, so that when we move into a one-on-one container, we can get so much more work done, because I already know everything. Like we don't need to beat around the bush anymore. Like we can actually get work done. But I find that when people come one-on-one first, sometimes they're not ready for the depth at which, because I'm not here to have you suffer anymore. Honestly, my mission in life is to reduce suffering through storytelling, which is why I'm a creative, why I'm a content person, big on video. That to me, without children, I will not be having children in this life. Video is my legacy. That's why I'm like jumping on podcasts. I record myself doing everything, like whether it's cooking or working out or I don't know. I have some random videos, but one day I won't be here. And one day my family and friends will be able to go through the terabytes and terabytes of video of me and just laugh. She really recorded this? Like just laugh. Maybe that video of me doing some random thing brings someone joy when I'm not here. Like, who knows? And so I think there is an aspect of like, I truly am just being led through this life. And I love to be that person to do that for my clients. So I'm not a coach that tells you what to do. I'm very much a master question asker, and I very much just find out where you want to go and then what do you want to do to get there and then help you get there. Because I'm a guide. I'm just here to say, where are we going? Let's go. All right.
Yes.
Like, the truth is, so many people think coaching is them telling you what to do. For example, I had a problem for a long time with charging for coaching because I didn't know when is it a friend and when is it a client? Because what I sell is oftentimes looked at as like just a really loyal friend who also gets business. So I'm your business bestie, right? Like I can balance both your emotions and keep your head on straight for business.
Right.
But it's what I do for my friends. But you're asking me as a client, like, which one are you? When do you pay? So I finally had this realization. I'm like, oh, I don't mind giving out directions. So I will stand on the corner. If you want to know how to get somewhere, all day, I'll give you a blueprint. I'll tell you directions all day for free. I don't mind, because 85% of people are not going to do anything with those directions. The moment you want me to get in the car with you and drive that route and to make sure that you get there, it's not to side seat driver. I'm not telling you where to go. I'm here to make sure you just get to the destination you want to get to. But here's the kicker. Because I'm in the car with you, I now can't give directions to other people. So now you got to pay, because now I am not able to continue to do the free stuff. So that's now what I look at is I'm like, when I'm talking to someone, I'm like, are they asking for directions or are they asking for me to get in the car and go with them? And like that to me was huge, because realizing that I'm not the person to sit there and say, take a left, then a right. I'm not your GPS. Like, should I take a left or right? I don't know. Which one feels better to you? Did you take left last time? How'd that go for you? Like, that's my kind of way of helping people. Really, I find it's so much more helpful when you can just get them to make up their mind for themselves. If I tell you to do something, you're never going to do it. But if I get you to tell yourself that's what you need to do, now you can't not do it. So it makes my job way easier. But
that's so good.
Yeah.
I had this revelation like literally a couple of weeks ago, and I've been doing this for ages, but I didn't put the pieces together. That I think life and our impact and how we have a relationship with leadership and our relationships, everything comes down to what kind of questions are you asking?
Yeah.
And are the questions that you're asking meant to spark a fire in you or spark a fire in someone else? Yeah. And I realized that that's one of the things I teach in networking is so many people lead with attempting to tell what it is that they do, not realizing that you get so much further by asking others about their journey. You learn something. There's always some fantastic insight or takeaway. Yeah. However, we have to be intentional about the questions that we're asking. So people have coined me like this master connector and this master question asker, because my world consists of both. Not only am I connecting people together because I see that there's a synergy and there's opportunity there, but I'm connecting people with the higher state of being too by asking them the right questions.
I love that. I always tell people, if you want better answers, ask better questions.
Yep.
Girl, the amount of people who ask why, and I'm like, stop, you don't want it. It doesn't matter. Like, your brain will literally just fill in the gap for you, and it can do some damage if we ask that question. Why did this happen? It doesn't matter what happened. How can I get back? You know, the biggest question that I have right now, because obviously I did this TEDx. I did it for a room of achievers. They're very much doers. And I said, less doing, more being. And I knew they're going to walk up to me afterwards and go, okay, so how do I do that? They're doers, right? So I just sit here and like, okay, so like, how do I get someone to really recognize they just got to slow down and do less, right? Slow down and do less. Slow down. How do I teach this to someone like that? But it's just really important when they finally get it and they realize, like, I'm not asking you to change anything. I'm just asking you to pause, take a deep breath, and just meet in the middle. I just don't want you here. You don't even have to be in your heart. Just meet in the middle, because like, be in your voice. Like, that's there's something powerful to meeting yourself there and being in that space. And I just think a lot of people silence themselves and they don't recognize that they're doing it. And it's like, we just, more voices, people, more voices, not less voices. And know the world's scary. It really can be. For creators specifically, we're in a world that keeps showing us what content creation and video recording, what kind of trouble that can get you into. But we have the choice, right? Everything in life is a choice. How do we look at this? Are we going to look at the hate side of things, the negativity? Are we going to live in the scarcity of life? Or are we going to go to the abundance side and live in love and recognize that everything has something to benefit from, right? So this big question that I'm really drilling down on is, how relaxed can I stay while doing fill in the blank, right? It's not about not doing. It's how to stay relaxed, because you can stay relaxed in a very stressful state. That's the key. How relaxed can I stay? So whether it's how relaxed can I stay while becoming ridiculously wealthy? How relaxed can I stay while building an audience that's so aligned with my mission and vision? How relaxed can I stay while I walk into this building with nobody that I know and meet a whole bunch of new people for the first time? How relaxed can I stay on this stage while I am transmitting this idea to other people? How relaxed can I stay right now when I have a to-do list yelling at me, a child screaming in my face, and breakfast that's burning on the stove? How relaxed can I stay? And so it's like better questions. Like, how do we ask better questions?
Wow, that's so good. Well, we've come to the last question of the episode, and it's my favorite.
Okay.
What is your favorite snack?
What is my favorite snack?
Mm-hmm.
Snack. Define a snack for me really quick.
Something that you like to nibble on. Maybe it's a guilty pleasure.
Okay.
Something that just brings you joy, the thought of it.
Two things. One, dark chocolate. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Dark chocolate. Yes. The darker, the better. One birthday, my dad accidentally bought a 99% dark chocolate bar. Very bitter. But here's the joy of that is that I never wanted to eat more than one cube at a time because it was so bitter, but I like still got the chocolate. So you get the benefit of the dark chocolate and like the love of my dad. And I was like, at first I was like 99%. You're really challenging me with this. Is this like fear factor or something? But no, I really enjoyed it. So dark chocolate is a go-to. But I think like real snacky wise, have you ever had the Quest chips? They're like protein chips.
I haven't had that. Nope. I can see it in my mind though. Yeah.
They're Quest protein chips. I really like they're like lime and chili lime or something. I don't know. They're sweet and spicy and they're very like crunchy. And I don't eat chips and bagged items very often, but because it's gluten-free and it's high protein and all of those things, that's probably my snacky, let myself have it kind of.
Yeah. That's your go-to. The Quest. Yeah, I gotta try those now.
They're really. I buy them in a box.
I don't need any reason to eat chocolate though. Like I am. It's so funny because I give myself a treat after I am on a stage or have a presentation or something. Like you come off and you know that feeling, that excitement, that high that you have from impacting so many people. And I'm like, okay, what am I going to get a slice of? Like, that's my go-to. Like, when I did my accelerator earlier this week, I was like, okay.
Yes.
I'm going to go get a slice of cheesecake from Cookout. Like, that's my treat. That's my celebration treat. So, yeah. We all got our thing, don't we?
Yes. That like a positive reinforcement, you know, like you're you're training yourself and you're like, good job.
Yeah, good job. Slice of cheesecake for you. So good. Oh my goodness, you guys. Let me get the banner up here so you know how to connect with this beautiful, amazing, amazing woman. Here we go. Make sure you visit JaynaSwan.com. Absolutely incredible. Tell them about the services, what type of offerings you have so they know what they're going to find at your website.
I'll be very clear. There's really nothing to buy there because I don't like have any public anything. I honestly, I run these retreats. If you're interested in having either 3 days away from family and business to come out and just have an energetic breath, an ability to have long meditations, either walks in the mountains or on the beach, wherever we are. If you're looking for an escape with someone who's grounded and can help you regulate and process through some stuff, happy to have you. Just join the waiting list. Same thing with the 5-day. It's a lot more transformative in the 5-day. It's got like a schedule. It's very full. It's a full experience. We'll tell you that. That's really my primary driver. Other than that, I made everything else free. So here's the benefit is if you go to JaynaSwan.com or if you just have an iPhone and you go to the App Store, you can look up healthy emotional regulation and they have an app. The app is completely free. So if you just want, like if you're stressed out, you need someone to calm you down, just go listen to me heavy breathe in your ear for a few minutes. I'll help you out, right? There's affirmations, there's journal prompts. So if you're not good at asking good questions, I have a bunch of them there. Feel free to go in, just type in your answer and enjoy. There's some movement stuff. I'm working on getting more movement in the app. All of this to say, I think your audience really would like the next level of the app though. So I'll let you guys know that in the app, there's also something called the Value Vault. It's also free. All you have to do is apply to get into it. And I will go through, just read the application, and I'll approve almost everybody because almost everybody is ready for it. But I just want you to be intentional. The point is, the Value Vault is every single PDF, video, anything, any resource I've ever created for a client over the last almost 10 years is there for you. So if you want to see, how do I organize my social media posts? How do I have like a B-roll list where I can like file away all my stuff in Notion. I've got all sorts of like things to help with hooks, things, anything to run my business, anything to help clients. There's a bunch of PDFs that walk you through if you're struggling with body dysmorphia or any body image stuff, because we're always on camera. So I can help walk you through that. And every one of these PDFs, they're written as if I'm right there with you. So it's me speaking from my voice directly to you and walking you and guiding you through this process of exploring what is the root of where this is coming from and helping you let that go. So this app, the Value Vault, all of this is so valuable. I cannot stress that. Just because it has the FREE in front of it does not mean it's not valuable. I used to charge for it, but then I decided, no, I'm going to charge to speak on stages. I'm going to charge to run retreats. I'm going to charge to work one-on-one with people. But this information, you guys require access to be able to have these shifts. And why am I going to put a paywall in front of regulation? That's not okay. I want our world collectively to level up. And I truly believe in co-regulation, which is a top-down approach. And I do know that if we can just get more people regulated, we'll have less people snapping at each other, yelling at their kids, road rage, like these things that are happening in the world as a reactive community. These can be solved through all of us taking a few minutes to just sit and breathe. So if I can help you do that through heavy breathing in your ear, I'm happy to do that. I say that because it's literally me and a mic going, breathe in, breathe out. It's the funniest thing to me to listen back. But I had a girlfriend who was like, I'm so stressed out at work. I have a panic attack at the computer. And I'm like, can you give me 4 minutes? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. So I made exactly a 4 minute long just over a 4 minute long audio. I said, all I want is you just stand up, walk outside, sit in the sunlight and breathe with me in this audio. So it's literally just me heavy breathing. And I think it's the funniest thing. But everything that's in this app, it was once created for a girlfriend or a guy friend or someone who needed something. And so I created it and then said, the rest of the world needs this too. So
yes. Oh my goodness. Jayna, I love you so much. You guys, we are almost to the end of the podcast. It is time for our prayer disclaimer. But first, if you are watching the podcast, you see that QR code at the top. You can scan that and that'll take you to our connection and visibility guide where you can score yourself and how you are networking and then get some tips on how you can score higher, how you can be better this year, how you can dominate the rooms, how you can turn your contacts into capitals. It starts with knowing how to connect and build with people and strengthen your relational ecosystem. So if you're watching this, you can scan the QR code. If you're listening to this, you can text EYG in all lowercase to 843-648-3875. So it is time for our prayer disclaimer. If you're not a prayer, we love you anyway. Just letting you know. As for me and my podcast, we pray. So, Jayna, would you like to close us out or would you like me to pray?
I'll let you do it. I was like, let me see.
I really thought you were going to say I really thought you were going to say you were going to pray. I was like, oh, she's going to pray. I was so wrong.
I'm a little couple decades out of touch of actual
Rusty.
for like formal prayer. I apologize. I will let you lead this one. I got the next one though.
Okay. Don't apologize, my love. You're such a blessing. I love you so much. Dear Heavenly Father, we humbly come before you and we thank you for this conversation. We thank you for the work that Jayna is doing, and we thank you for the healing and the calling and the impact that she is making on so many lives, Lord God. I thank you for the opportunity to come before you with your abundance and your calling and your alignment of all these incredible people in this moment of time, in this stage of history, in this part of our journey, for us to connect and share our experiences and come before you and come before the people that hear this and watch this. We ask that seeds of healing, seeds of overcoming, seeds of growth, seeds of love and light are planted in their heart, Lord God. I ask that you put your hand and you keep your hand on Jayna's life as she continues to usher her reality of incredible love and being the salt and the light that you called her to be, Lord God. I pray these things according to the character and identity of Christ. Amen. I love you so much. Thank you.
I love you too. Right back
So
at you.
good. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you here next Thursday, same time. Thank you. Hold on there. I'm going to end the recording.